I'm going to read this to you. It's regarding the modern black women here in America. As a retired Army veteran, I've seen much of the world during my years in the Army, and I can personally confirm how the black female service members react when they see brothers in uniform dating the local women and not them. The irony is that these same disgusted black females are the very same ones who wouldn't give these same brothers the time of day stateside. This was the primary reason why I stayed overseas for nearly half of my career. The one viable solution to address the black American female effery is for them to be 100% without any black men in America, for them to be completely and totally abandoned as if they were a disease. I feel the energy you've got for the women that are not willing to engage and do their part, but we can't throw them all away. That absolutely not.
Damn, fam, I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. Them words cut a little deep to me, man. Cause all I heard basically was that black women don't deserve black men and they deserve to die alone. That sounds pretty harsh. Because if that is the thought of most guys, then at the end of the day, you're completely saying that the world should be rid of pure African-American, Africans, whatever you want to call it, pure black people, period, is what I'm hearing. That the race itself should cease to exist. Because if you're telling all the men that they don't deserve black men, I'm sorry, if you're telling all black women that they don't deserve black men, then basically what you're saying is that the race itself should cease to exist. And that's a bit harsh. I don't ever want you to get it twisted, man. Just because I married who I married, again, I say it time and time again, doesn't mean that I don't have love for my own. That's number one. Doesn't mean that I still don't find black women to be attractive. All right? I just chose what I chose because that to me was the best fit for me. But oftentimes this hate rhetoric, it comes about and it seems to be extremely cyclical, right? Black men will make the argument that black women are less cooperative, manly, masculine, and they do this and they do that. On the opposite end, you'll hear black women say oftentimes, oh, men ain't shit, black men ain't shit. They make babies, they leave them. They date abroad because they can't find nobody strong enough to deal with them or some shit. But nobody's trying to deal with their bullshit. And it always comes down to the butting of heads. And to be honest with you, is kind of what I feel the people want. And you know who the people are. Not specifically any type of group or a specific group of individuals, but that's what the people want. And you know who them peoples is. Because we've heard them talk about it time and time again. Now, again, my channel is not based on, race relations and things like that, because that's not my focal point. I do believe in dating abroad. I do believe in dating who you want to date or loving who the fuck you want to love, right? There should never be a problem with that, and nobody should ever be shitted on because of who they choose to be with, right? But then again, you can't expect that the shame is not gonna go, that way when you see a black man, like my man said in the video, with a woman that otherwise wants them for who they are, but yet and still, those same women wouldn't give somebody like me or somebody like you the time of day, right? Oh, they'll shit on you when they see you with somebody else because they ain't want you at that time, or you just weren't good enough, you were lame or whatever, but then get mad at you when you date somebody else. That's just the way of the world for them, for a lot of them, right? It's the truth. Especially when you start to do well in life, right? When you start to do well in life. And I'm not talking about myself in particular. I'm talking about anybody, right? Because A, they likely don't want to see you happy with somebody outside of the race. Or B, if you were lame, you're going to continue to be lame and nobody should ever date you, period, because you lame. That's kind of the mindset of some individuals. And that sucks and it's extremely unfortunate. And we already know we'll get shitted on for dating abroad, but let them date outside the culture, date outside the race. It comes with praise. Again, we're not talking about anything that is not new. But I do believe that it becomes harsh for a man to say that all of them should be left alone. But I do agree that sometimes to an extent, drastic measures are needed for certain situations, right? Sometimes, drastic measures are needed. For example, in order for some that just completely refuse to make changes or completely, and I think guys need to do their part as well. But for those that actually refuse to make the changes, sometimes it's going to take them being alone, separated from all, in order for them to actually understand what it is that they're actually lacking and or missing. I have noticed, and maybe you've noticed it too, you'll see a lot of girl on girl action now. I've kind of been making mental notes of that, right? So they can't get a man, so they're ending up together. Now, I'm not saying that it's not real. I'm not saying that they really don't love who they with. But I have seen situations where that shit reverses extremely quick when a guy starts to pay attention to them, you know, and shit hits the fan. I could give you a perfect example. There was this young lady that I knew that dated girls for 5 years. Now she's currently in a relationship with a guy. So, you know, sometimes all it takes is the right one. But sometimes you're not going to find the right one again unless, you know, the energies change, man. And like I said, it has to be a change on both sides. I'm not going to sit there and act like us as men don't have stuff to work on as well, because that would be disingenuous, right? I'm still a real one, y'all. Let's keep it real. Like, everybody got things that they can work on. But I do not believe that it's in the best interest to completely just jump ship and, you know, just leave the race of women by themselves. They interact or interracially date and go off with their own, and, you know, men interracially date and go off with their own, because basically, like I said, you're talking about the complete elimination of a specific group of individuals. Again, nobody's purely any type of thing. You're not just all white, you're not just all black. You know, there's always something in you, of course, in your ancestry. But deep down, it's kind of like, I feel like those comments were a bit harsh, but to an extent they make sense. When I talked about the drastic measures, sometimes it's necessary. It's unfortunate that it's necessary, but sometimes things need to be done and things need to be said if you believe that it's going to actually make a difference. Do I believe it's going to make a difference? Mum's the word on that one, bro. I'm not going to sit there and act like they're gonna change. Some people just double down on it. I've learned that the easy way. Some people just double down. They're like, oh, you want to be like that? Okay, then we gonna be like this. And they start to get louder. They start to shame a little harder. You know what I'm saying? I don't need to go into the details because you guys should already know this. I'm making a U-turn. Y'all give it a minute. Sometimes they double down on the hate, shame, and whatever it may be that comes with it. But again, like I said, sometimes, you know, drastic measures are necessary. Do you believe, in your opinion, that this is something that all men should do? That's what I want you guys to comment down in the comment section below. Do you believe that in order for a certain group of individuals, you know, ladies, to actually start acting right, it's going to require some drastic measures of men saying that we're going to refuse to deal with you until you act right? As a complete race, we're just going to completely say, we're not going to deal with none of y'all until y'all start to act right. Sounds crazy harsh to me, but I still doubt it will work. But do you believe it'll work if you do it? Comment section below. Let me know, man. It's been a good time, man. Good Docs, good books, merch. You already know what it is, man. Docs, appreciating y'all, man. Y'all take care. Y'all stay blessed, man. Docs out. Peace.